Happy Spiritual Sunday. No, if you really, really think about it, we take so for granted this whole idea of technology that we don't realize. If you went back 200 years ago, like you said, 50 miles was a long way. Now we are literally in the same place at the same time. Hong Kong, Malaysia, all over America, Macedonia, right? Different parts of it, Del Rey, Vegas, like that. I mean, why do we not understand that we are literally in the same place at the same time? So, when we get to our affirmation, that it should make it stronger for us to realize, as we often mention, there is only one soul and we're all on that spiritual internet. So literally 8 billion people are at home with you, they're driving on the street with you, they're going shopping with you, they're having dinner with you. Everything you do, there's 8 billion souls that are connected to you and influencing you. So this is why, and we'll talk also a little today towards the end, we're one soul. We want to make sure that the influence that we are having is going to make the world a better place. And the nice part is, the only way we can make the world a better place is by making ourselves better people. So it's always a win-win. So actually, as we'll get to, thank you. Now I know how to bring in the topic of today. But as we always do, so for those of you here, you have on the screen, for those of you online, our affirmation to keep our consciousness focused on the path of the light, because we have so much influence of the illusion, of the darkness, of the chaos. So let's say it together out loud. Let them hear you over there in Hong Kong. Consciousness is everything. I raise my consciousness today to see the miracles and wonders of life. I commit myself to behave with greater love, compassion, and kindness towards all human beings. And the thing is, like we just mentioned, there's no time, no moment in 24-hour day that we are not having influence on others or allowing them to have influence on us. What you and I are learning, like we start out with, consciousness is everything, which means you and I are becoming more and more conscious of the fact that some of the influence in our lives is intensified by the people out there. In other words, I'm sure, without embarrassing ourselves, we could all say, whether you're here or online, we all have a little bit of impatience and here and there a little bit of judgment and things like that, yes? But have you ever noticed here and there, sort of uncharacteristically, you react more strongly, right? A greater jealousy, a greater energy of judgment, a greater energy of fear or anger. You ever noticed that what you consider usual? So now if you understand this whole concept of one soul, it could be in that moment you just happen to be a little more open to the negative influence of 8 billion people, exacerbating and enhancing or intensifying your impatience to, let's say, verbal anger. Things like that. It just intensifies. So if we've experienced that, what happens the other way around? What happens if we push ourselves, like we affirm, greater love, kindness, and compassion, or care, or forgiveness, or tolerance, or generosity, or humility? So when we'll push ourselves that next level higher, we are now having influence on 8 billion people to, in essence, dissipate some of their anger, ego, greed, jealousy, guilt, shame, and enhancing and drawing out from inside their soul greater love, kindness, compassion, generosity, tolerance, humility. But it's a constant flow of energy. There's no time we're disconnected. No human being has ever been disconnected from the spiritual internet. It's impossible. There's no such thing. Even you say, well, what about when a person dies? They're still connected because the soul doesn't die. It just receives, if you will. You ever seen a magician or illusionist make themselves disappear? As we'd say, make themselves invisible. Or if you remember Harry Potter, the cloak of invisibility, that's all that happens when a person dies. that there's just a spiritual cloak of invisibility. But the same way, we have people here, like we said, from Malaysia and Hong Kong. Even they're seeing me, I don't see them. But we know they're here, and if you open your heart a little more and sort of focus your consciousness, you can feel their energy. So we realize there's no such thing as disconnect from the spiritual internet. So then the greatest self-protection, as we learn here in the center, is to send so much light that we're protecting ourselves from the negative influence. That's the key, because 8 billion people, all of us, are giving a little bit of negative energy, fear, anger, insecurity, insensitivity, impatience, whatever it may be, irritation. So when that goes out into the world, then we're adding to their negative energy. When we're sending the light, greater love, kindness, and compassion, etc., then we're also influencing that out there. So consciousness is everything. Okay, so let's tie this in with what I was going to talk about, which is the understanding Kabbalistically of something called balance. You ever heard of balance? So you and I have been learning in the center, unless you're brand new, the Kabbalists believe that the 5 books of Moses is history. Those people lived, those things happened, etc. But as I like to always go back to, you could read a book, let's say on, the one that always comes to mind, Thomas Edison. You could read a book that described every day he went to the lab, he did this experiment, he walked this way, he did this thing. You could read that, but what do you really want from Thomas Edison's life, in simple terms? You want the light bulb, and you want to be able to use the technology of the light bulb that he created in the system that will make it work and take away our darkness, right? I mean, here and there you may want to know what he did and how he acted in the laboratory, but overall you just want the technology that he gave us. So too the Kabbalists teach us that the Bible is a code. The 5 books of Moses is just a code, and the Zohar is what unlocks the code so we can derive the technology and we can make use of it to reveal our soul's light and take away the darkness around us. So to understand it sort of through 2 ways, this idea of balance. And it's a story that probably, thanks to Hollywood, probably many people still have a few false ideas about this particular story. It's called the Binding of Isaac. So if you remember, and if you don't, it's okay. The story Abraham, this is the way most people will tell it. Abraham is, close to God, and God one day looks at Abraham after he just had Isaac, right? And God looks at Abraham and says, I just want to see how true you are, how loyal you are to me. I want you to take your son, and this is how they usually understand it, even though that's not what's written, which we'll get into, even in the literal level. He says, take him up the mountain, and people will think sacrifice him. Like, kill your son to show your loyalty to the Creator. So first off, even before I started in the center, when I read that story, or another story, very outstanding in my mind story, I thought, you know what? I can't believe in a God like that. What God that would be loving, kind, and this, would tell somebody to take their son and sacrifice him, even to the Creator? No way, I could not believe that. Okay, then I came to Kabbalah 30 some odd years later, and here, as I'm about to share with you, this story, the reality of the story. The first thing, if you watch the movie, or if you think about it, how old was Isaac? I know some of you learned in the center, so don't say. But, if you think about it in general, because the movie showed Isaac like a little baby, right? It was a little baby carried up. Okay, so even the literal story, forget that we don't only look at the literal story, but even the literal story, how could Isaac be a baby, like you think 6, 8 months old, if he's having a conversation with his father? Dad, where are we going? What are we doing? Why are we taking this stuff? That doesn't sound like a 6 or 8 or a 10-month-old, right? Besides what we'll get into, which will show us the spiritual energy of balance. So basically that's the story, and they go up the mountain, and here, do you really have to tie up a baby? I mean, heaven forbid there's going to be a sacrifice, right? Lay him on the wood, and that's it. It says he tied him up, right? That's where we get the idea of the binding of Isaac. So he ties him up, about to take the knife and kill him, or so we think. And the angel of God says, no, Abraham, now that you've proven that you really trust God and you're willing to do whatever God says, Now you don't have to sacrifice your son. Okay, so let's get into the parts how we, in 2023, in the Kabbalah Center, can learn to take out the literal meaning and see the technology. Because how many of us would like to have balance? You want balance in life, right? That's what we often think. The trouble is, like so many things, we've misunderstood what balance is. Because for me, one of the two most powerful things we learn in Kabbalah, one is that every challenge is my blessing waiting for me to reveal it. It doesn't belong to anyone else. It's not anyone else's fault. It's an opportunity for me to fix mistakes I've done before. So we learn from Kabbalah 1, embrace your challenges. Because you have to turn them into blessings. Not just to embrace them as a challenge, right? And suffer through them. That's not Kabbalah. It's how to transform the darkness to light, the chaos to order, the curses to blessings. Because that's what's really hiding in there. Think about it. If the Creator gave every human being 100% light in their soul, and we have free will to let it be revealed or not, then where's the light that we're missing? If we already have 100%, when you look around your world, spiritually, you got 100% blessings, anything you could ever imagine and a billion times more. So where's it hiding? It's hiding, as we learn, behind the curtains that we create of jealousy, ego, fear, greed, insecurity, guilt, shame, things like that. It's hiding in the dark. It's hiding in the dark. So as the Zohar says very simply, light can only come out of darkness. It can't come out of light. There's light in this room. Yeah, I know. You can all tell me, well, we could bring a stadium spotlight and make it lighter. But in essence, what would make it lighter, even in that way? The subtle darkness that we don't see in this room, that's all the stadium light would illuminate. It would remove another level of darkness that's a little more subtle. But ultimately, our challenges that push our buttons are there for us to transform, as I'll give you a few examples at the end of this, from darkness to light. Like you go home, you turn on the light switch, the light removes the darkness, and it replaces it with illumination. And just to put a little puzzle in your head, where does the darkness go? You turn on the light in your house, where does the darkness go? You walk into a smokers convention, right? And they're all in a little 10 by 10 room. And of course, they're puffing away on their cigarettes, their cigars, whatever. So the room is filled with smoke, yes? Now you walk in, you say, what's going on here? And you bring your fan, you open the door, and you start to turn the fan on. Where's the smoke go? You see the smoke goes out the front door, out the door. But when you turn the light on in a room, the darkness doesn't go to the next room, right? Like the room that's lit next door, suddenly the darkness goes over there and makes it dark, does it? Yeah, because the Kabbalists teach us there's no such thing as darkness. It's the limitation of our eyes that don't see the light. That's why we learn from Kabbalah 1, embrace your challenge, because right in that moment, your eyes only see the negativity, the difficulty, the obstacle that's occurring. You don't see the light that's there. But you come to learn, yes, if you embrace it and you follow what we call the proactive method or the proactive formula, you can actually remove the illusion of darkness and you can reveal and be blessed by the light that's in that challenge. Don't you want blessings? How many of you woke up this morning and said you'd like to have, heaven forbid, more chaos in your life today? Anybody? No, you wake up in the morning, you say, I want to have more blessings, more good. So we learn, your soul, our soul brings us into these challenges. So in essence, in our story, Abraham and Isaac, on a soul level, to achieve their full potential, they had to go through this challenge. But to understand in the literal way that God actually told Abraham this, no, it was their soul seeking to reveal its full potential and have all of its blessings. And again, how many of you would be happy with 90% of your blessings? Yeah, right now we'd say it, because maybe we were at 40, 50, or 60%. So 90 is already levels up. But when you start to live at 90% and your soul feels 100%, what are you going to want now? You're not going to be happy with 90% anymore. Not that it means you won't like it. We learn to appreciate wherever you're at and grow. Appreciate wherever you're at and grow. So it's not about not liking being at 99% or 90%, whatever. No, it's the fact that we have 100%, and our mission here was to reveal 100%. But you can't do that without balance. That's why I was inspired this. So you take the story. So I have to give you a little Kabbalistic understanding. And if it doesn't stick right away, so go back on Facebook and watch it again. But in essence, there are 8 billion, and we said right from the beginning, there's 8 billion physical people in this world, but we're only one soul. So like a jigsaw puzzle. The picture on the box is one picture, yes? But when you open the box and you empty out the contents, there could be, let's say, 5,000 pieces. But those 5,000 pieces are part and parcel of that one picture. But each piece is unique. It plays its own part in the 5,000 piece jigsaw puzzle. So too the Kabbalists teach us. Every human being on earth plays a unique piece. And if you want the complete picture, which is our goal here in this world, heaven on earth, the Messiah, utopia, whatever name you want to give it, you need every one of those 8 billion pieces. And this is why the center is teaching us unity, oneness. You have to be unified with the soul of every human being on earth. You don't have to hang out. You don't have to like their external behavior like you and I. Is there never a time you don't like your own external behavior of the moment? You got a little angry, you got a little impatient, whatever it may have been. You don't like that. Okay, so we learn, transform it, remove it, change that behavior from reactive to proactive. So the same thing, but we want to connect to our soul because it's the only power there is. So we want to connect to the soul, our soul that's in those 8 billion people out there. The same way, we want to be connected. So in this case, there are, let's say, fundamental or foundational energies that were channeled into this world through unique people. So relative to this story, there was Abraham, Isaac, and then ultimately, a few years later, came Jacob. Okay, the triad. Kabbalistically, this is what they represent. Abraham, spiritually, represents what we call right column energy, which is sharing, the desire to share, which is related to the light of the Creator. As with the physical light, you turn on light, it shares infinitely. It'll go out to the extent of the building or the room that it's in. So Abraham corresponds to the spiritual energy called right column sharing, the light force. Isaac, on the other hand, is what we call the vessel, the container of light, which is the desire to receive, left column, desire to receive the light. So why is it that every human being on earth wants more good than they have right now? One, because we said everybody's got 100%, and in their soul they feel the 100%. So we're constantly driven. So you came into this life at 20, you moved to 40, 50, 60, say, wow, that's really great. But like we said before, you still want to be driven to 100. So you look, even in a simple physical level, why is it people with things that we think they could live all the rest of their life doing nothing else? Whatever, enough money, this, that, resources, how come they're still out there working, doing something? Because they have 100% inside them also. And just because they have a lot of physical things that a lot of people want doesn't mean that they're necessarily spiritually fulfilled, meaning revealing all their light. So they're still driven. Unfortunately, if their focus is only the 1% physical material, that's all they're going to be seeking. More money, a bigger house, more music, more movies, more whatever. And that's why you can see people who have those things, who you can still hear about, or unfortunately history shows us that often they have a lot of trouble, addictions, compulsions, worse than that, suicide, things like that. But they have all the material stuff, but they haven't let their soul shine to its full potential. So here you have Abraham, Isaac, and then there's Jacob, who comes along the line after this particular story. But Jacob is called the central column. The restriction, we call it, or, if you will, the balance between right and left. Right and left creates circuitry, like in a light bulb. You have a positive pole, the negative pole, and the filament. And when those three are in unity, then the light will flow, physical light will flow forever. Because there's a circuitry. So now we start to go back to the story. You'll start to see how it's teaching us balance. And we'll get to the ultimate balance, if you probably already got a little hint of it. So the story goes, like we said, Abraham takes his son Isaac and a few other things, takes a knife, fire, and wood. Let's just cut to the essential parts, right? They carry that with them. Now, when they get to this mountain, that Abraham divinely understands this is the mountain that he's supposed to go up and do this action to, as we want to understand it, create balance in the universe, not just in their life, But because they were primordial fundamental energies, they created the system, if you will, in our world, in this creation, the ability to have balance, true balance and circuitry of the light infinitely. So here comes Abraham, we said was right column energy, the energy of mercy, right? Isaac in left column, the desire to receive. So what happens? Abraham takes the wood, and we understand spiritually, Kabbalistically, wood is also right column. It's the energy of sharing. Okay, I mean, I could sit here for the next 4 hours and give you the whole details, but let's just understand that. It's the energy of sharing. So we said Isaac is left column receiving. What did Abraham establish with him? Wood. So now Isaac is carrying the two aspects, light and vessel, receiving and sharing. He of himself receiving, the wood corresponding to sharing. What does Abraham, right column energy, take for himself? The energy of the light. He takes the energy of receiving, the left column, knife and fire. So even as they're going up the mountain, they're already establishing a unity of the light and the vessel, receiving and sharing. Okay, you say, great, some of you look a little confused. What does it have to do with me today? You're not confused a little bit? You're not wondering?
Yeah.
Okay, or we could wait till next week. No, okay. So you and I are light and vessel. The Creator created us. If you didn't take Kabbalah 1, go back and take, or go into Kabbalah.com and take it. Or if you've taken it, go back and remember. We were created as a vessel in the endless world. Desire to receive absolute total fulfillment from the light of the Creator, meaning a container to hold the infinite light. The light itself is right column, the vessel is left. So inside every human being, our soul is the left column, the vessel for the light of the Creator, and we're filled with light. So we also are, even every individual among ourselves, light and vessel. Our soul is the vessel that's filled with the 100% light of the Creator. So we are Abraham and Isaac. What are we seeking? That which came next, and some of you already know, at least historically, came Jacob. Right? Abraham gave birth to Isaac, Isaac gave birth to Jacob. Now we're understanding what it means to us spiritually for our life today in practical terms. So Abraham is establishing this idea of balance. He takes the fire and the knife, and he gives to his son the wood. So again, could Isaac have been a baby? Even to carry one branch? No, he couldn't be a baby. He was 37 years old, and Abraham was 137 years old. Yeah, see, it already changed your perspective on the story. Okay, but now we get to the balance. So what he does, they go up the mountain, and here's the key Kabbalistically. God never said you have to kill your son. In the beginning of this particular section of the Bible, the word that it uses, it says the Creator tests. That's what you usually read the translation, but the word is nisa, which comes from the word to elevate. That the light force, not God as some entity, but the light within Abraham wanted to be elevated, wanted to rise to its next level. Like we always say, you and me, we want our next level. No, your life is great now, but you're not at 100%, so you want your next level also. So the light in Abraham was pushing him, wanted to raise his consciousness. Isaac, the whole story goes, and now when they're on the mountain, and Abraham ties up Isaac, which is called the binding of Isaac, he binds him. It says olah, which is also a name for a sacrifice, but the sacrifice is called an elevating. They call it a burnt offering, but that's, let's say, a corrupt translation. The word olah means to elevate, to lift up. So Abraham's being lifted up, but you could also look at it as a test. Here's Isaac. What was the test of Isaac? This is what we learn in the center. Here, the guy's 37. His father comes to tie him up, and he sees the knife and he sees the fire. What do you think is in his mind? Sacrifice. So if he's 37, his father's 137, you don't think a 37-year-old could run away from a 137-year-old? So this is where we understand also Isaac's elevation was being willing to be bound. That's why it's called the binding of Isaac. It's not called the test of Abraham, the binding of Isaac, because as we're about to learn, what's true balance? And I want to throw this out. If you listen to most people, and maybe you and I somewhere along the way, people say, I need balance in life, balance in life. And most of the time, what are they talking about generally? Work and family, or something similar along those lines, right? Somebody working because they got to make money to pay the bills, and especially with what's going on the last few years, right? Some people have to work a lot harder, a lot more hours and this, and they feel they're neglecting their family, et cetera, et cetera. So people looking for that kind of balance. Balance work at home or home and personal time and this, that, and the other. No, that's not balance. Balance is when the light of the Creator is flowing through us 100%. That's balance. That's balance. Not when there's balance. Like I told somebody once years back, they said, yeah, I'm looking for balance in my life. Balance, balance. I said, really? So do you mean what you're really telling me is you want balance between good and bad in your life? Right? Let's balance the good and the bad. 50% of your life is bad, 50% is good. Is that not balance? Yes or yes? That's balance, right? 50-50. But is that what you want? Anyone here would like to take that? 50% trouble in your life, little chaos, confusion, and 50% happiness and joy. Anyone out there? I don't see takers here. Anybody there want it? But that's balance, right? So people will have, and now think about it, balance, as they say, home life and work. So let's be, I want to use the word, but let's be objective. Change the word here. Be objective. Tell me, have you ever had an unbalanced issue at home? And I'm saying it doesn't have to be horrible, but have you ever been out of balance? Maybe you got a little, overly aggressive or a little bit, impatient or certain things like that at home? Have you ever been that way also at work? So now imagine balance of home life and work. So while they're at work, right, all the stress comes there. So what do we do? And what do some people do? So they can't express it at work. They go home and they take it out on their family. Never seen that? Maybe you and I have done it, right? A little stress from work, something didn't go well, it's weighing on your mind, and you couldn't scream and yell at work. But when you get home, a little impatience with the kids, with the spouse, with the partner, with whatever. So you took the out of balance at work and you took it home. But now you're at home equal time to work, so now you're out of balance at home, or sometimes you have that too. A little argument, a little friction at home, and then you go to work. You take that out of balance at work. Now something doesn't go your way at work, and now you take it out on somebody there. That's the balance you want? You understand? No. It's the spiritual balance which will lead to the physical balance, the true balance of consciousness. Desire to receive and desire to share. That's what we're looking for. And this is what this story is giving us. Abraham and Isaac. Right column, left column, creating balance. And that's why ultimately Jacob comes out, because Jacob corresponds to the central column, which is the circuitry of energy. Right? When you go home and turn your light on, why wasn't the light bulb on? Because the electricity wasn't flowing through it. So when you turn on the switch, and let's go back to incandescent because it's the easiest thing to keep in mind, right? When you turn on, the energy now flows through the circuit that's there. Positive pole, negative pole, filament. If you take the filament out, no light will show up. If you take the positive pole out, no light will show up. If you take the negative, you need all three aspects. So in our life, we have to come to understand what this story is teaching us is how we can put the three aspects into perfect balance. The balance of the right column of sharing, the balance of the left column receiving. Simple terms. What we're here to do, the vessel. Remember we said we were created as a vessel. So if you take this cup, it has a limitation what it can hold, yes? So if I had a hose that I was pouring water in it, right? There's a limitation. It could overflow, but it won't flow through in a balanced way because there's a limitation. So too with you and I. We have a limitation. We're at 60%, 50%, 70% of our potential. That's a limitation. So all the center's teaching us in that way is how to do more sharing. So you open up the bottom. If I completely cut the bottom off this cup, and I put the hose on top, how much water can flow through the cup? Infinite. Infinite. Perfect balance. 10 goes in, 10 goes out. 3 goes in, 3 goes out. That's perfect balance. 10 coming in, 3 going out. What do they call that? Indigestion. Constipation. Oh, I see. People can relate to that. Right? Isn't that what it is? If you think about it, the food goes in, not enough goes out. Person's bloated. All that other stuff that comes with them. Or the other way around. Right? 1 goes in, 10 goes out. Anorexia or whatever else like that. You understand the idea? So what's perfect? 3 in, 3 out. 10 in, 10 out. So spiritually, what we teach here in the center, and for the 30 some odd years I've been in the center, thank goodness the teachers that I've had, the Rav Berg and Karen Berg, this system is called Kabbalah, which means to receive. But there's nothing for us to receive because we're filled with 100%. So everything we teach in the center is how can you share more? Right? Like we did with the affirmation. Greater love, kindness, and compassion. Doesn't mean you don't have love, kindness, and compassion, but greater. And then when you get to the next level, even greater yet and greater yet. So it's all about sharing. Why is it called Kabbalah? Because we're learning in the center how to focus our desire to receive on the light of the Creator. Because it's the light of the Creator that fills us. When the light is revealed, happiness and joy and peace and protection, all that shows up. When the light's only potential inside of us and we're not shining it out, that's when we feel lack and chaos. Because we feel inside 100%, you see outside 60%, so you're 40% unhappy, 40% reactive, 40% in discord, in whatever form it is. So our job is to open up our vessel. Take the bottom, if you will, like an opening. Like if we could open it up a little bit more like an aperture, the more you open it up, more could flow through. Right? When it's 100% open, then it's flowing 100%. The Kabbalist teacher, why is the Dead Sea dead? Why do we call the Dead Sea dead? Same reason. Because it has an inlet, no outlet. So it's dead. What would happen if a person breathes in and never breathes out? Dead. Right? And what is asthma? Where they can't breathe in enough for what their body needs. You follow? That's out of balance. You and I who breathe normally, what does that mean? 10 in, 10 out. 10 in, 10 out. You get the idea? That's balance. Who wants to be out of balance? We don't. So then we have to understand the same thing. How much from the upper worlds, how much is shining on us? 100%. How much are we sharing? 40, 50, 60, 80%. We're still out of balance. We have to learn how to share more. That's the key. And when a person doesn't realize how and where they need to share, we learn from Kabbalah 1, which for me is why, as I shared with somebody here this morning, I don't care how many years you're in the center, you must review, take again Kabbalah 1 at least once a year, if not more. Because it's the big picture, it's the fundamental, foundational understanding of everything that we came into this world for and how we got here. And if you don't hold that in your mind, you'll never be able to fulfill your objective. So you have to keep reminding yourself again and again and again. We're here just to share. Why? We have that opponent in our head, that programming that's opposing us, wants us just to receive. No, open up your vessel. So I want to give you a few ideas. Because like I said, balance is not just 50% home life, or let's say 30% home life, 30% work, and 30% on my own time. No, it's letting the light flow through us all the time. So, as we'll focus our desire on the light, which we're really looking for anyway, the person who's looking for more money to make them happier, or another house, or a bigger car, whatever it is, what are they really looking for? They're looking for the light. Because it's not the car, it's not the house, it's not the money, it's not even other people in our life. If you really think about it, when you look at whatever, a loved one, and when you look at your loved one, do you really only, let's try and make it easier on us, focus just on the physicality of the person? No, there's something about their energy. We call it, I love them. Love goes beyond, it transcends the physicality. So we're really looking for the light in the person, a circuitry of light, an equal amount of sharing. The trouble is that for centuries, millennium, that programming that we call the opponent, the adversary, that we put in our own head, is the one that taunted us and trained us to look for fulfillment in the physical world. So if they're treating me nicely, I'll be happy. If they're not doing what I want, then I'm not happy with them. So I'm going to mold them into what I want. And meanwhile, what do they think? What do you think they're trying to do? Mold you into what they want. No wonder there's trouble in so many relationships, because there's no flow, balanced flow of energy, which means I'm just thinking to share. Because when I share, there is a cosmic circuitry that will bring that sharing back to me. And it may or may not come directly from that person or from that job, but somewhere, somehow, it will go out and it will come back. How do you know? Can I prove it to every one of you? I hear the opponent going, "No, you can't prove it." Yes. I have one simple question. Have you ever had anything of a good thing happen to you unexpected? Ever? Well, there you go. If it's unexpected, it means you didn't do it. Right? You didn't plot and plan and say, okay, I'm going to make that person come to me and do this. And no, if it's unexpected, it's unexpected. Which means somehow you did somewhere some good action. You let more of your soul's light be revealed out into the cosmos. And it went around and came back in that way, in that form, in that moment. So you and I are learning what is real faith. Although we don't like the word, we call it certainty. Certainty is the system works. So when you emanate light out in the cosmos, it's going to find its way coming back in its own time, in its own way. But it will come back. Today, everybody believes that because they call it the law of attraction. The trouble is they don't talk about the bad stuff. Oh no, you didn't track the bad stuff. You just meditate on the $1 million check and it came your way, or that new house and it came your way. What about when the trouble came? Oh no, suddenly the law of attraction, either they don't say anything or maybe it doesn't work all the time. No, we understand everything is what goes around comes around. What you cause and effect, what you throw out into the cosmos comes back to you. So if I'm focused on, as I learned from my teachers, I want all my light for me. They used to even call it greed, spiritual greed. The Rav used to say, I'm the greediest person on earth. I want all the light for me. The beauty of the system is if I want all the light for me to be revealed, all that the Creator put in my soul, I have to share light 24/7. Meaning kinder, loving, more generous, compassionate, humble, forgiving, tolerant, etc. So that I will be 100% fulfilled. The nice part is it's a win-win situation. For me to have all my blessings, I have to shine my light 24/7. So the moment I get triggered and I'm feeling a little angry, I'm not shining my light at that moment. So this is what we learned from Kabbalah 1. It is a rule of affinity. Like attracts like. So when we're triggered, when you say you're triggered, what does that usually mean? When somebody, everyone's heard the saying, yes? That person, that thing triggered me. Do you mean made me so happy? Made me ecstatic? No. Usually when you say I was triggered means I had anger, fear, insecurity, jealousy, judgment, something in a negative way. So we learned, boom, the moment you're being triggered, it's your soul saying, hello. You just asked for more prosperity, more health, more protection. But you hid your light of protection, prosperity, peace, love inside the dark shell called anger, fear, jealousy, ego, something. So when you're asking for your light, like a walnut. Anyone ever had a walnut that's not shelled yet? No. Okay. You ever had an orange? Maybe that's more common, right? So you take the orange off the fruit counter at the store. What does it look like? Does it look like the orange you're about to eat? No, it's got a shell on it. So do you discard it because of the shell? No, because you've learned to have spiritual vision. You are Superman and Superwoman. You have X-ray vision. You see through the shell of the orange, the fruit that's inside, and therefore you're willing to peel it to get at the fruit that you enjoy. So we learn every challenge is like that orange. The shell on it, which we created, is the fear, the guilt, the insecurity, the sadness, whatever it is. So that's why we learn embrace it like you embrace the orange, peel it, which is what we call the proactive formula, and then the light is revealed. And the light will show up and turn into health, peace, love, kindness, protection, whatever you need. Not what you want necessarily, but what you truly need. it'll show up that way. So our job is just to keep accepting the walnut, whatever name you want to call it, the orange of life, and just keep peeling it. So when you're triggered and that negative energy comes up, that's where you realize, oh, your blessing is hiding there. Your light is hiding there. So we call it pause and then peel it away. Peel it away. Think, what do you want? You want the opponent, that dark energy, so to speak, that shell to go away. So you have to peel it. The only way to peel it is act like the light. Because opposites repel. Like attracts like. So think how many times you behaved in a, we call it reactive, in an angry way towards an angry person. Or a judgmental way in a negative, towards a negative person. So you know what you did? You just connected. Like attracts like. I don't care you think that you're right and you think they're wrong. It's not right and wrong. Like attracts like. So they acted with anger and you acted with fear. Both negative energy. Because like attracts like. You hate hateful people. You hate murderers and rapists and robbers and all of that. Just glue yourself to them. Glued. Do you hear that? Glued. You want to be unglued? And I'm not saying that makes you a murderer or whatever. But because negative is negative. Light is light. There's no different thing. So you want to push away that negative energy? Like you said, you turn on the light in your room, what happens to the darkness? It transforms. It, in essence, goes away. It disappears. So you want to be disconnected from the negative actions of people and connect to the light of God that's inside every human being on earth. That's when you send the hateful person forgiveness and tolerance. And that's when you send the angry person compassion and forgiveness. And again, that doesn't mean you exempt their negative, are endorsing their negative behavior, and it doesn't mean they're exempt from cause and effect. But their circuit of cause and effect is unique and different than yours. But you glue yourself to them, then you're going around with them, right? Some friend of yours drags you at the amusement park and forces you to get in the roller coaster with them, then you go on the ups and downs with them because you dragged yourself in with them. You don't want to go on the up and down roller coaster with them? You got to be the opposite. They go into the roller coaster, you stay out. You send light. Light is the only protection against darkness. There's nothing in the physical world which will protect you from darkness except light. And the beauty is we're carrying around with us light 24/7, the light that the Creator put in our soul. So then here's the way you're going to start doing it. So something happens, triggers you. You're feeling angry because that's what was awakened. We call it pause. Stop for a moment. Allow yourself to be conscious and use your free will. When you just knee-jerk response, you're not using your free will. The Creator gave us all free will in the endless world. How? Light and vessel. So we have the ability to receive or the ability to share. That's free will. That's the only free will there is. It's not about being good or bad or doing, this thing or that thing. No. It's being light or vessel. That's the only choice we have. So you're feeling angry? Pause. Think, what do I want to come back with me? Shine the light. Let's call it of tolerance. You shine the light on them of tolerance or compassion. What happens? Your anger starts to dissipate. You're repelling their negative energy and simultaneously connecting more to the light of the Creator in their soul, because like attracts like. So you're no longer gluing yourself to their anger, you're gluing yourself to the light of the Creator in them. Blessings, peace, love, compassion, protection, clarity, the right decisions, the right choices in life. And again, they are who they are, it'll come back to them. But the beauty is if you start to wake up the light inside them, start to activate the light inside them, eventually they'll become more light behaving. They'll be more kind and compassionate and tolerant and caring and humble. Because the light will force us all to do it. You get triggered, judgmental. Pause, send the light of acceptance. Just accept them for who they are. Look for the light in them. Every person, there's nobody on earth, no matter what you may think as of this one moment ago, there's nobody that's 100% bad. Okay. There was a gangster way back, his name was Al Capone. He did nothing basically but murder, kill for his own greed and this and this. But they say Al Capone loved his mother. So we have the choice. And again, we're not endorsing his bad behavior, but we know every person is created by the Creator as a pure and perfect being of light. So even that, Al Capone loved his mother. At least if you wanted to look for how to connect to light, when you're looking at Al Capone, think of that. He loved his mother. So at least judge that way. You connect more to the light in his soul, wake up more kindness and compassion inside him, and have more blessings and dissipate your darkness. So you start to feel worried, pause, act with trust in the light. Be more sharing, be more kind. Something pushes your button, guilt, pause, act with apology. Because what do you feel guilty about? Something you did. So find a way to apology. Even if the person's on the other side of that thing we call death, just close your eyes and meditate. Take a beam of light from your soul, send it to their soul, because the soul is eternal. So even if they're on the other side, you can still reach them, because like will attract like. If your intention is to send light to that person of apology for what you did, and sending them light to make up for, in essence, what you, so to speak, took from them by your negative behavior, now you've given it back to them. You pay your debt. Nothing to feel guilty about anymore. This is the way we work. So everybody's looking for that balance, are we not? Peace, love, serenity, blessings. But now we're learning how to achieve it. It's not balancing our physical life. No, a person Kabbalistically could literally be at work 20 hours in the day and still have balance. So I know some of you going, yeah, but their family going to complain. Why does a family complain? Even think again in simple terms. Why do people say, oh, they don't have enough time with you? Is it really the time? No. If you really boil it down, they want your energy. Now, if a person's only giving, let's say, 1 spark of light an hour, and that person at home needs 5 sparks of light to feel content, so it's 5 hours. So then if that person wasn't there 5 hours giving 5 sparks of light, the other person feels they're missing. But if you can go in 1 minute and give them all 5 sparks of light, they're going to feel fulfilled from your energy even with 1 minute. And again, I'm not recommending those things. I want us to understand the concept. So it doesn't have to be equal amounts of time. It's about the energy. The energy. So we want to be pure conduits. We want to be what they call living water. What's living water? A flowing source, like a flowing river, right? 10 going this way, 10 going out, 10 in, 10 out. That's living water. Dead Sea, in, nothing going out, or very little going out. That's death. How many you heard people say, the minute a child is born, they're already on the death clock. And I remember, sadly, there was something called the death clock people could buy online. Yeah, it was a countdown, whatever, the 80, 90 year, whatever the lifetime's supposed to be. So they just set the clock and it counts down. Hello? Who in the world would want something like that? Because where's the focus? Death, death. No, you and I have life. So if I'm channeling more light, whatever's coming in, it's channeling through me every chance I get, every opportunity. I'm shining more light. I'm letting more light come out. Yes. Then I'm living waters. Then I'm living water. Ooh. I'm living all the time. And that's what we want. So everybody on earth wants balance. We know how to do it. So our blessing is that we know everybody's on that one soul internet. So whatever we put out there, we're affecting 8 billion people. And again, if you're putting more light out in this spiritual internet, what are you drawing from 8 billion people? More light, because they also have a soul full of light. And like will attract like. Like will attract like. So you're blocking, overcoming whatever negativity those 8 billion people are automatically emanating, and you're connecting more to the light, you're sending more light, we're speeding up the process. So we have the good fortune of what we're learning here in the Kabbalah Center, how to speed up the process. We have the tools, we have technology, and just another reminder, Zohar, the most powerful tool in this universe. It beams 100% of the light of the Creator. So how come when we have it, it doesn't give us instantaneously 100% fulfillment? Now you understand, because we're still blocked. We're still blocked with little fear, insecurity, impatience, whatever it is. So this is why when you embrace the challenge, and then you pause and you start sending light, you're opening your vessel. You're allowing more flow, more blessing, more of the 100% becomes manifest in your life. That's it. So we have the ability. not only of increasing the light in our life, but we have a way that we can contribute to 8 billion people on the planet, because we have this technology of the soul, as we call it. Waken the soul. Everybody's soul is the same material. Everybody's soul is the same technology. So the more you and I will do what we need to do to have our piece of love, kindness, and compassion, and our piece of heaven on earth, then we're automatically causing the acceleration of reaching 8 billion souls, 8 billion hearts, to awaken in them also the desire that will come more and more to the surface to be more loving, to be more kind, to be more forgiving, to be more tolerant. And they'll open their spiritual eyes, it's called the eyes of their heart, to see that everybody on earth is a piece of them, not a separate piece. And when we see everybody as me, then just like I want every part of my body to be healthy and vital and be unified with every other part, we will also we will make happen unity, peace, and love by awakening the heart and soul of every human being on earth, because like attracts like, and the light will awaken the light. And then not only will we be able to be in our piece of the Garden of Eden, heaven on earth, but we will be able to awaken 8 billion people, that as that light shines, we'll take away the cover of darkness. The darkness will disappear, and everybody will live for eternity in peace, love, unity, Garden of Eden, heaven on earth, and utopia. God bless. So, okay, let's go back here. So you know the mission, we always talk about it. One, I just want to thank those of you, especially those of you online who contribute regularly. One, make sure if you don't have one of these, at least one of these pocket Zohars, get one, put it in your car, keep it on your person, give it to your kids, your family, friends. Make sure everybody's protected by this. At least that much. Start awakening. We want to be in a constant sphere of the light of the Creator. So that's it. The ultimate mission of the center, in fact, we had a group going out today just because the contributions of generous students in the center, we have Zohars that are being given out today, right, that we can bring more protection. So unfortunately, I can't tell you we have enough resource to bring enough there, and this is why we always take this time now to bless the offering. Whatever you want to give, whatever you can contribute, whatever your heart tells you, just to support not only the maintenance, let's say even simply of this center, but the expansion of the projects. Because as you just heard, we literally, and you may not believe it, and I'm not telling you you have to believe it, but at least don't disbelieve it. Don't just deny it. But the mission of the center, because of the lineage of all the Kabbalists, one to the next, back to the origin of the Zohar itself, the mission of the center is to transform the angel of death back into the angel of life. So there's no more death, pain, and suffering in the world. But that can't happen without the support of everybody. So whatever you're willing to give, those of you online, let me put the place you can send your offering also. But hold whatever you want to offer, whatever your gift is, hold it in your hands, because we know money is just a vessel. It's just a container for the energy that we put in it. So because our mission and like attracts like is to spread the light and bring peace and harmony to all 8 billion parts of the one soul, we want to have that gratitude and inject that energy, gratitude, love, peace, into our offering. That it will accelerate the spread of the light. It will remove pain, suffering, and death by taking away the darkness at its source, removing the energy called the angel of death that humanity created by disconnecting from the light of the Creator. So with your support, with your blessing, we bring back the fullest connection between the infinite light of the Creator and the heart and soul of every person on earth. And so inject this love, this light, this consciousness to reach to the depth of the heart and soul of every person on earth through the distribution of the Zohar and this technology, to activate in the depths of the person's heart and soul in each of us the pure light, unconditional love, the ultimate of sharing, and the true meaning of love your neighbor as yourself. Pure balanced sharing. As it flows from above, we let it flow through us by sharing it with greater love and kindness and compassion for all human beings. And together we say, Amen. So those of you who like to stay with us, we have what's known, let me put it on the screen. For those of you who got to turn behind you a little bit. This is one of what's called the 72 names of God. The Hebrew letters are primordial. Nobody made them, nobody created them. They came into this world with the Big Bang as simply manifestations, or I like to call them photons of the light of God. So photons were created in the Big Bang. No scientists created them. We just learned to make use of them. So too the Kabbalists teach us. The Hebrew letters just shine light. And since our eyes are the windows to the soul, by literally just looking at the letters, the light that shines from them, in this case, Hey, Aleph, Aleph, brings harmony, order from chaos, or as we call it today, balance. Chaos means it's out of balance. If you think about, you ever think about this, just, sorry, extra minute, when you walk, have you ever seen a person that when they walk, the right foot goes forward and the right hand at the same time? No, the right foot goes forward, the left hand goes forward. Right? Then the left foot goes forward and the right hand goes forward. So it's always balanced, right and left. Think about, you didn't even pay attention to it, did you? Abraham and Isaac. Balance creates Jacob, the circuitry of light. You can just keep walking. The moment you try and go left and left and right and right and left, you're off balance. You're going to be like that because it won't work. It won't work. Right, left, balance, receiving, sharing. That's why we want the light 100%, and the only way to do it is by sharing 100%. So this is now extra power. So just let the letters, the shapes, be engraved in your mind's eye. Hey, Aleph, Aleph. Just the shapes, the names. And then if I can ask you, sit comfortably in your chair, your seat, feet flat on the floor, hands comfortably in your lap. Breathing in through your nose, hold the breath for a moment, exhale through your mouth. Just allowing the light force that's called the breath of life to channel through you smoothly, awakening the light in every cell of your body through the physical breath. Creating a stronger, balanced flow, not only of air, but of the life force that is the light. Allowing yourself to relax, settling into the vibrant energy of the light of the Creator that is infinite, surrounds us, fills us, empowers us to constantly shine more of our light, reveal more of our blessings, and activate the light in every human being on earth. And so let's envision above our heads the Hey, Aleph, Aleph. These nanoparticles of the light of the Creator. See them shining, bright white light. Feel the vibration of pure unconditional love. And through the shapes of the Hey, Aleph, Aleph, the infinite light being specialized as order out of chaos. True, fundamental spiritual balance in life. And so allow the Hey Aleph Aleph to enter through the top of your head. Feel that vibration, refining the thoughts in your head, allowing the voice of your true light soul to be louder. The flow of those loving, caring, light behaviors. Be louder, be empowered over the reactive, opponent-based thoughts. And then allow this energy, the Hey Aleph Aleph, to flow through your body, bringing balance between your body and your soul. The body that is the vessel for the light in the soul, and at the same time, strengthening your spiritual desire, craving for the light of the Creator as the only source of lasting, true fulfillment. Feel this new awakening, this higher level of the vibration of the light and greater clarity. And wherever you have been confused, whatever is weighing on your mind, ask, be open, and ask your soul for guidance, clarity, and direction to bring balance, order out of the chaos and confusion in that situation. Allow the Hey Aleph Aleph to settle in your heart, opening up a stronger beam of unconditional light and love. Ask, crave, beg your soul for the answer. Hey Aleph Aleph. And then open your heart to listen and hear the answer. As you're hearing the voice of your soul, give you this clarity and guidance, how to turn your chaos back to order, removing the darkness, revealing your soul's light. Remember what you hear. Constantly ask your soul for the strength to do those actions, to be able to face your darkness and shine light unconditionally. Increasing the flow of your soul's light and your soul's blessings to manifest in your life. And let's send a beam of this light, Hey Aleph Aleph, out to the heart and soul of every human being on earth, to bring each person to reveal their true light potential and bring all people into harmony, unity, oneness, and peace with each other. So that as we are all above in pure unity and oneness, so we become in the physical material world. One harmonious humanity in peace and in love. Let this energy, this consciousness, this inspiration be engraved in your heart, in your soul, and in your mind. That it's constantly at the forefront of your thinking, of your vision. And we take one more deep breath to anchor and solidify this forever. And slowly exhale and open your eyes. Those of you with us online, thank you for joining us. Those who've joined us here in Boca, thank you for being here. Have an amazing week, an amazing afternoon or evening for those of you out there in Hong Kong and Malaysia. It's very nighttime. So God bless, have a great week, have a great day, and thank you again for being here.
Thank you for joining us. If you liked what you saw, subscribe to this channel that you'll be notified when we post new videos. Share the video with your friends, they can also benefit. And check out the website, www.kabbalah.com, that's Kabbalah, for hundreds of articles and classes. Wish you an amazing day, and God bless.